Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get right into this. I know I made some jokes about Kelly Marcel actually doing the writing for 50 Shades of Grey, but considering that I saw some videos in defense of how 50 Shades of Grey was actually better with her and another director in it. Um, and to be honest, in my honest opinion, it wasn't bad compared to the source material. Now, the books, the books are terrible. Now, I didn't read the books. I just read the summary on the uh online. Oh, but Pet, how can you know that they're bad if you haven't read them? Oh, quite simple, my audience. It's just there's just so many things wrong with it. Okay, one, it's a fanfic. And look, I read fan fiction. I used to write fan fiction. Okay, guilty. But when you go ahead and see enough reviews of it, and uh, you go ahead and like even watch the movie, and you see blatant display of a guy trying to use BDSM as his antipsychotic because to get over his past abuse, and him having an Oedipus complex because he only goes after girls that look like his mom, and there's a lot of abuse going on in here. And I'm not gonna lie, there is actual abuse. I, for one, can definitely say from an unbiased opinion, though it does sound biased in a way, that I have been through an abusive relationship before. One that has affected me to the point where I was too scared to get into a relationship for 5 years. And one that I wasn't even aware I was in a relationship. I just gave a guy a phone number, because I'm like, oh, sure, yeah, we can be friends. And then he thought we were dating, and he was very clingy, possessive. He clearly had some ideations of us being intimate together because he wouldn't stop asking me to go over to his house when I told him we just met yesterday and it's 10 o'clock p.m. and I don't want to. I don't even know you, dude. So, yeah, and true story on that second guy. I'm not gonna get into details on the first dude because it's a he who shall not be named situation. But the second guy was a little comical. It was like literally 3 days I've known him, and he did scare me a little bit. But it was enough of a red flag where he started, getting mad if I didn't text him within a few minutes, and he started cussing me out. And I literally had to call him because at the time I was in a relationship. I had to tell him, look, you're a nice guy. Bullshit. But I'm already in a relationship. But if you want to be friends, and literally as soon as I told him I was in a relationship with someone else, and he's like, oh, well, fuck you. Don't call me then. Bye. Don't call me back. And I'm like, let me go ahead and ask this. If, guys, if you're watching this, does it automatically, look, is it automatically a solidification of a relationship for guys, if a girl gives you her phone number, because I was not aware of this. Call me naive when I was 21 at the time. I think 21 or 22, but I was not aware of this. I was like, sure, yeah, I guess I could be friends with the guy, so I gave him my phone number, and I accidentally gave him uh, the phone number with one digit off, so he ended up texting like the wrong person. So yeah, I accidentally gave him the wrong number. So I ended up being one of those girls by accident. But yeah, and yeah, he was a really weird dude, and he told me that he lives with his mom. He works at Jack in the Box, and he doesn't have a lot of friends. He only knows like a few people that he actually talks to. And it's like, maybe those are kind of like red flags right there. He also has no ideation of going to college and doing anything. He just kind of like wants to work at Jack in the Box. I also heard a few years back that he no longer works there. Like, I think he got fired, so maybe he lost his temper. Or, he was trying to hit on a girl and maybe something happened. I don't know. But yeah, these are. I've clearly been in some situations with people that were very similar to what Anastasia had to go through with Christian Grey. And the thing is that E.L. James is so deluded that she can't see that this is a. See, if this let me go ahead and say this. If this was a purely a cautionary tale of be careful of who you're dating, uh, or just basically a domestic abuse survivor story, anything like that, it would have been pretty good. But E.L. James defends it with her whole heart that it is a romantic tale with kinky BDSM sex that has no use of of that. What's the name of the word? That the of the. I can't. I know. I'm so blind at BDSM. Of the. Of the. Of the no word. Sorry, I'm stupid. And aftercare. Guess what, guys? There's aftercare. If you do plenty of research into BDSM, it's actually not as toxic as this book is. But E.L. James doesn't get it. She thinks that BDSM is literally people beating the shit out of each other and getting off on it. And it can be like that, but it's within the confounds of consensuality and safety, and literally the people actually tend to like each other or care about each other. Anastasia likes Christian, but Christian I don't feel like likes Anastasia. But I'm kind of digressing here because I'm here to talk about Kelly Marcel. The movie was bits and pieces better than the book. It did cut, from what I've known, extraneous fat from the book. It definitely edited some lines that were stupid. Like, I didn't read the book cover to cover. But there was one time I was at Walmart, and I picked up the book, and I just flipped through pages, like literally flipped through a page, read 3 sentences, laughed my ass off, flipped through a few other pages, read a few other sentences, laughed my ass off again, and then flipped through a few other more pages, and then read a few more sentences, I literally couldn't read a single page without laughing out loud. I couldn't get through a paragraph. Okay? The writing, the prose, oh my god, the dialogue. It is so unrealistically terrible. Like, oh my god. If and for some reason people actually read it because it's kinky. I don't see any kink in it. It's so laughably bad. I mean, if anything, I would probably check it out from the library just so I could actually, get a good laugh out of it because it's terrible. I mean, God. But at least, with Kelly Marcel and, the other director, I forget her name. I only know Kelly Marcel because she's doing, Venom 2. But I gotta give Kelly Marcel credit when credit is due because they had to deal with E.L. James, who is basically the Tommy Wiseau of, well, everything. When she was, if little known fact I discovered recently, when E.L. James was turning her fan fiction Master of the Universe, for some reason, even though it's called Masters of the Universe, it didn't have He-Man in it. When E.L. James was turning Master of the Universe into, from a fanfic to a book, when it started going through editing processes, she fired her first editor because the editor was making too many changes to it. That right there is a warning sign. And then it got published as is with as the most. Look, let's just say there's two sides to this argument. People like it. People call it a meme. I call it a meme because it's terrible. I mean, memes are good or bad, but just like it's like one of those things that it's like so bad it's funny. And then when it eventually got adapted to a movie, let's just say that the only two good people that wanted to turn it into a movie and actually wanted to make honest, good changes that actually would make sense in the movie that made the book look better by comparison in any way, shape, or form, E.L. James would throw a hissy fit over it because she liked the original book, the original thing better, and she wanted the original stuff to be put into the book. Like, she didn't want changes. And there was even one scene, the scene where, like, Bella and, well, Bella and Edward are a little too similar to Anastasia and Gray. Because it's a fanfic. Get it? But anyway, when Anastasia gets whipped a few times, originally they were gonna have Anastasia, say, her, no word read, a few times and have Gray, just keep whipping her over and over again, to show that he actually has no control over himself, that despite what he says to Anastasia over and over and over again, in his, compulsion for rules, that he literally can't control his rage and yada 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 yada. But E.L. James threw a hissy fit, got into an hour-long argument with, the director over it, and to the point where, the woman threw her hands up in the air and just literally kept the scene as it was in the book. Fuck! Yeah. Yeah, and it got so bad to the point where like Kelly Marcel and the other director actually couldn't even be bothered to go back to the following two sequels because they couldn't stop getting into arguments with E.L. James. And then they had another director who didn't do it again for 50 Shades Freed. And you know what's even funnier is that the guy that did the movie 50 Shades Freed happens to be really close to E.L. James. I think I even heard that I think they're a married couple. So at this point, E.L. James was pretty much directing the movie, and it shows that 50 Shades Freed was an E.L. James movie because it makes no sense. But I was even talking to my brother about this today. To Kelly Marcel's dignity and credit, she went from 50 Shades of Grey to Venom 2. That's an upgrade. And I know I was laughing and giving crap to her for doing 50 Shades of Grey, but after the shit she had to go through with E.L. James, and after the shit she had to go through reading the book, I'm gonna go ahead and give her some slack because the movie wasn't half bad. Don't get me wrong, the movie is a piece of shit, and the books are even worse. But Kelly Marcel did what she did. She did the job. She had to deal with E.L. James being an obstinate idiot and a stubborn, overgrown man, woman, baby. And Kelly Marcel, for her credit, actually ended up years later getting the job to direct Venom 2, which I'm looking forward to. So, yeah, good job, Kelly. You're doing way better than from what I heard E.L. James is going through, which is actually sinking into the theory that Christian Grey is still a dickweed because she's writing the series through Christian Grey's point of view, and it's not really doing much of a favor to prove that he's an asshole because you're already kind of, you know, doing a good job for us. Like, we know it from the original books, we know it from the movie, but you're writing it again, and you're already writing him as an asshole in the third book, in the third series. Yeah, E.L. James, you should stop. Kelly Marcel, you go, girl. Bye.